Mr. Young and foreign.
Kick to the gut!
Kick to the gut.
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 Hey, kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the Gut podcast.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut.
Your podcast sucks!
Hey, what's going on? It's Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. First and foremost. Kong Si Fa Chai.
Yes, Hong Bao Na Lai. Actually, no, I'm giving the Ang Pao because I'm married already. Happy Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year to you if you're celebrating this weekend. And also, this weekend on Sunday, we are celebrating not Valentine's Day, but Vengeance Day. What is this? What is it? Double V.
Double. Okay, never mind. I wanted to do something, but I realized, no,
V-
keeping it PG.
V is for viscera.
Yes, V is for... What's a word that starts with V that is like prosperous in Chinese? Victorious?
Very victorious. I was going to say very rich, but sure. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Hey, man, I hope, bro, with the Bitcoin blow up, I think it will be a very good season of giving for you.
I just wish that I had bought more. But this podcast is not about Bitcoin. For that, we would have to get Lady Killer, the crypto-weight champion of the world. But today we are actually doing a recorded episode. If you're watching on YouTube going, hey, how come they are not replying to my messages? That's because it's the Chinese New Year weekend. So we decided to record it early because, I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff to do with visiting and whatnot. Yeah. But we can't forget you, the wrestling fan. And we got more content, so much content for you.
Yeah, be it like Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, Deepavali, bro. It doesn't matter, bro.
It doesn't matter what holiday it is. We will be here for you.
Yeah, and as you can tell, we've been posting more regularly on our Instagram. As you can see, we are doing up YouTube. We are leveling up on all levels, bro. So please keep engaged with our content.
Yeah, just go and follow us on all the platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever you're watching us or even hearing us right now. Maybe a regular Kick to the Gut listener on Spotify or iTunes, and you didn't realize that we were on these other platforms as well. Kick to the Gut. Go find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, everywhere. We everywhere, yo. We expand in the empire.
I wonder, bro, because since we started going on YouTube, I wonder like how's the listening habits of our listeners like? Are they more on Facebook, on Instagram? That's one thing, but are they listening to us more, or they prefer watching us? I'm curious to know as well.
Actually, if anything, some people like to see our beautiful faces. They will do the whole YouTube thing because there's a whole what is that? There's a whole YouTube culture. People like to sit down and chill, and usually, like I said, we do it live. So I love the whole interaction, being able to answer your questions. But like we said today, just for this week, because it's a holiday, we're going to do a recorded show. Like how, sometimes SmackDown or Raw, they do recorded shows during the holidays, what?
Tape shows. Tape shows, right?
So we are tape show today.
Yeah, man. But the thing is, no one will know that. And if we screw up, we can restart and rewind and go out in front of the audience again.
Bro, we are live and raw. There's no such thing as a retake. So if we screw up, it's on us.
Speaking of raw comments, how about last week's episode with Shaukat, bro?
Oh yeah, that was so much fun. I had some kind of an expectation of how Shaukat would be, and he totally exceeded it. So that was a lot of fun. If you missed our conversation, we shot about the SG wrestlers, we talked about the Undertaker's comments, and so much more. His career, APAC Wrestling, and we managed to dig out something that was apparently, well, I wouldn't say controversial, but we didn't know about it, and then we just like very innocently asked, right?
I like on the us being like sincerely like naive,
like
you didn't know anything. You can just ask this kind of thing point blank, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he was very gracious enough to tell us about the whole split, quote unquote, between MyPW and APAC Wrestling and whatnot. So yeah, if you missed all that episode is on our social media links. Go check it out. In the meantime, though, okay, we are building up towards Vengeance Day. First of all, when they announced, bro, Vengeance Day, NXT TakeOver, Vengeance Day, what did you think of the name?
Man, NXT loves to bring back all these old classic pay-per-views. It's as if, right, Vince McMahon doesn't want to have anything to do with these old pay-per-views, and then Triple H is like, you know what? These are all my classic pay-per-views where I had so much classic matches. It's my era.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm just gonna, like slide it in under the NXT banner.
The weird thing is, right, it's almost as if they said, okay, we want to take vengeance and Judgment Day and put together Vengeance Day. Like, what?
Bro, they're running out of ideas, lah, bro. Next thing you know, bro, it will be like, back in the ring.
Back in the ring? What the hell? No, they can still mix and match, lah. They can still
Backlash and King of the Ring.
Ring of the Lash. Survivor
Judgment
Rumble.
Bash.
Oh, God. Okay, no. These are all terrible ideas, WWE. Please do not take them, okay? But let's actually jump into the preview of NXT TakeOver. I wanted to say St. Valentine's Day Massacre all of a sudden. See,
Yeah,
that one actually happened like a couple of years ago. Remember when the Big Show, Paul White, showed up at St. Valentine's Day Massacre? We posted about this in our This Week in History segment on Instagram, right? The thing I remember about that, though, was how stupid it made the Big Show look.
Yeah. What a weird booking decision that was, man.
He debuts,
yeah.
comes up from under the ring. Oh my God, there's this giant. He tore through the ring. It was Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? And obviously, Stone Cold is beating the hell out of Vince. Well, Vince had the surprise. The Big Show comes out from under the ring, and it's a cage match. How do you win a cage match? By climbing over or getting out of the cage, both feet touch the floor.
Yeah.
Big Show throws Austin into the cage. The cage, because Big Show is so powerful, right? The cage breaks open, swings open, and Austin falls out and wins. Like, huh? Wow, then, so your first impression is a cock up lah.
What did 20-year-old Mr. Young, what was he thinking when he saw like Big Show debut? Like knowing his history from WCW.
Yeah, obviously I was excited about that. But when he cocked up and helped Steve Austin win, I was like, wow, that's a bit of a letdown.
Well, yeah, when I first saw it, right, I was thinking to myself, was it a botch? Like, did he meant to do that?
Yeah.
Because technically he helped, quote unquote, help Austin win, right?
Yeah, lo, exactly. Yeah.
So the whole plan backfired lah.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the storyline lah. Like, I mean, looking back, it wasn't the best storyline, but it is the storyline nonetheless.
It was the story of Big Show's career lah, bro, basically. He's been a chump his entire career.
Hey, he has a show on Netflix, okay? Which I think sucks, but anyway, that's not the point.
You wish you didn't watch after a while.
I watched like 3 episodes out. This is so fake. And I got my wife to watch it. She hated it even more. Like, she was like, the acting is so fake. It's so bad. I rather watch wrestling.
You know what's funny?
What?
I thought they're going for like a wholesome, like, you know, Full House, like, you know, very old school American kind of sitcom. Yeah. It turned out more like a Disney Channel TV show lah, bro.
Yeah, it did, right? No, it just didn't work for me. Maybe it works for the kids. Anyway, that aside, we are here to preview NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. So are you ready, bro? I mean, we are literally doing this right after we watch NXT, the go-home show, as it were, right?
Yes, correct.
What did you think of the go-home show before we jump into the preview?
I mean, there's a lot of, big storylines happening in NXT. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is happening for both the men and the women's.
That's right.
So it's cool to have almost as if AEW says they want to be like the best tag team, have the the best tag team division in all of wrestling. Yep. I feel like the NXT division is pretty underrated as well. Especially if you look at the women's as well.
For sure. But I also feel like they are trying to push some of the younger tag teams because it's very interesting as I look at the card, right? Why there's no Undisputed Era at the Vengeance Day card? Yeah, because Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, they were in the Tag Team Classic and they lost the first round. Yeah.
It's as if shock, they are trying to push young talent. Holy crap.
Well, here's the thing though. They lost to Ciampa and Thatcher, who are not young talent. You know what I mean? That whole unlikely duo nonsense that they have going on. And ultimately, they lost. If you watch this week's NXT, they lost to the Grizzled Young Veterans, another young new team. And so the finals happening at Vengeance Day will be MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, I like the entire pathway that's been laid out throughout this tournament. As I was the point I was trying to make was that, even though like Ciampa and Thatcher like kind of won against this era, it was serving the storyline. Yeah. But eventually the whole purpose of this tournament is for all these big names to kind of eventually put over the younger tag teams.
That's right.
MSK and of course, like you said, this past week, I think Grizzled Young Veterans. What's funny is I've always thought that they have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe because they're going by their name, the way they carry themselves, or they look like
veterans.
people who can like go in the ring.
Yep.
And that was in the promo that Ciampa did, right? They kind of called them out for it, you know, kind of call them out and say like, hey, you know, who do you guys think you are? Calling yourself veteran, calling yourself entitled.
Yeah.
But then they proceeded to have like a killer match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no doubt that all the talent on NXT right now, they're all really, really good talent. I think that when you watch NXT, for me anyway, it's not about, the matches, whatever, because I know all the matches are going to be good, unlike when I watch AEW. The problem I have right now with NXT is that are the storylines engaging? Are the characters engaging to me? Because it's like, okay, wrestling got one standard already, you know? Whereas on AEW, it's like, okay, the storylines are like quite outrageous.
Yeah,
but the wrestling can be like from shit to good.
I tell you one wrestling angle in NXT that is so intriguing. Intrigues me, bro.
Don't tell me it's the Boa and Xia Li and Tian Sha or Mei Ling or whatever the hell thing. Okay, you know what? It is intriguing. I think it's cool that they are trying something different. And digging into lore. They're creating their own fantastic lore lah, you know?
Yeah. Bro, I tell you, somebody there, right? One of the writers is a big Mortal Kombat fan. Confirm plus chop.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not hating it. I'm glad that they're keeping Xia Li's matches very short. Because she's not the most sound one.
No, what's interesting about Xia Li, like, even before this gimmick, one thing I felt that she was lacking, I mean, no need to talk about like charisma or what, in terms of in-ring work, right, is that she's still having a tough time transitioning from, like a martial arts background, and making into like sports entertainment. Yeah, I think a great, and this might be a very random comparison that I'm making, but I think somebody who really utilized a martial arts gimmick and really made it part of a sports entertainment character, I think is Steve Blackman.
Steve Blackman, I think Ken Shamrock would fall into that category as well. Yeah, correct.
Ken Shamrock definitely with his combat sports background. Why I say it does well in sports entertainment is they carry themselves out as like a legit badass. And then that their moves, yes, it's snug, it's slightly stiff, but I feel like it's entertaining.
Yeah, it is not. The problem with that though is, and I understand that they want to be safe as well, right? Yep. But if it misses, it's very freaking obvious. It's like, that's such a phantom punch. So it's a very hit and miss, literally, when it comes to these quote-unquote heavy striker type characters.
Yeah, to be honest though, like I feel that this is the best example of how a talented wrestler just needs a little bit more to like connect with the crowd, or like to bring about some sort of like appeal. And giving them this like so-called fantasy, I don't know, zombie, I don't know, like the kingdom kind of
history
storyline
and lore. Yeah,
if nothing else, I think it taps into like this fantasy market that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, come on, now the wrestling fan, even wrestlers themselves are like huge fantasy geeks and video game geeks. So, you can definitely find some people who will be interested in. I think we are, falling into that category. Also, you notice Boa still hasn't been in the ring. He's just there as a presence. That's it.
Bro, Boa and Omos, right, can go stand together.
Yeah, just stand there, do a few things here and there. This time he got choked by Mei Ling, and that's about it.
Yeah, but I really like the so-called development, because for the first time, it's not just a squash match. I mean, it was a squash match, but the developments after that.
Oh, right.
When Kaden Carter came out, a tag team partner.
And Casey Catanzaro, and they got, quote-unquote beat down lah.
Yeah, they kind of got in the face of this Tian Sha lady and like, who the hell are you, blah, blah, blah.
So, I'm actually confused by this whole thing, right? They keep referring to the zombie woman, whatever she is, like 1,000-year-old woman, as Mei Ling, even though they announced it as Tian Sha. So I'm like, is it Tian Sha, Mei Ling? Like, what is Tian Sha the deity or the dragon that she supposedly sold her soul to? So there's that whole lore there.
What does Tian Sha mean? Like, do you know what it translates to?
Not really. It's just a name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I don't know whether Mei Ling is like his.
Mei Ling is just a name lah,
Yeah, like how a lover calls the wife.
What?
I don't know what you guys call. What do you guys call each other? I don't know.
Well, like a pao pei
like it's like very manja word. I don't know.
It's not a term of endearment. It's a name, Right. So I don't know. Maybe Tiansha is a title. Anyway, they need to sort that out. And
there was a YouTube video that they put out where there was some sort of like short animation where they explain. You saw that?
They kept saying Tiansha, so I thought that was her name. Then all of a sudden this week they're like mailing. I'm like, what?
I mean, I think it is Tiansha, and they went into like a whole like 3-minute like video with animation and all that about explaining the law and how this lady is apparently like a 1,000-year-old zombie warrior princess.
Trained by a dragon because her brother was evil and she had to sell her soul. Blah blah blah. I mean, it's fine, it's cool, it's fantastical, but they need to sort the names out first. That's what I'm saying.
If my first thought was when I saw her, I thought she was there's this one girl in Impact Wrestling.
Su Yung.
Su Yung,
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
It's almost the same, their makeup. It's really, really cool. So unless it's like a fantastic reveal where, when she strips off all the makeup, it's actually somebody that we know. Like Gail Kim. 1,000-year-old.
There is a talent in, I forget her name already. She was injured for a while, but she's Asian now. She's been training at the Performance Center. I just can't remember her name. I think she was in the Mae Young Classic as well.
Chinese lady?
Yeah.
Really?
Michelle or some K or something. I forgot her name already. But yeah,
okay.
Most likely this is who she is, like, they've just repackaged her and now,
So if you talk about NXT having like, interesting storylines, I think the interesting one seemed to be the very experimental type of storylines. And another one that they had on this show, do you know which I'm talking about?
Of course I do. It's Cameron Grimes.
Rich Grimes.
Yeah. Like I actually, when he came out and then he was like, oh my God, what's going on? He's in the Lambo. And then, and he starts talking about GameStop and Dogecoin. I'm like, oh my God, this is... I loved it. I loved it so much. And he's the perfect character to pull this off. For the longest time, he'd been like this, country bumpkin hick, like, whatever. And then now he's rich. Now, how is he going to act? Like, this is a twist on the old, like the $1 Million Man gimmick where he's just rich, right? He's a rich prick. But this guy he used to be a country bumpkin and now he's rich, but he's still a country bumpkin at heart. So I'm like, ooh, how is this going to play out? I actually really like it.
And I feel it's really funny. It just reminded me of Jamie Noble's storyline.
Oh my God.
Didn't he like somehow strike it big and they managed to buy a big house?
Oh my God.
Do you remember this?
I can vaguely remember it.
Okay, so from my recollection, right? So he was living in a trailer park, like literally with media. And then somehow they kind of like strike it big. I can't remember whether they won a lottery or something.
Yeah.
But I remember there was this one vignette that they shot. It's like, oh my God, now I can buy you guys like a big house. I can spend on all my sex toys. And that led to the Tori Wilson storyline. That's what I remember.
Okay. My sex toys, my sex briefcase. Still my favorite segment of all time. My name is Jamie Noble. And we're talking about Jamie Noble and Nydia. Hey, they were a pretty cool couple. And in just a bit, we're going to talk about the best and worst love angles as we lead up to Vengeance Day or Valentine's Day, as it were. But okay, let's get back to NXT. Actually, there are a lot of storylines that aren't unfolding at Vengeance Day, if you think about it, right? The new stuff, the experimental stuff.
Yeah, but it makes sense because last year, the first NXT takeover of the year was NXT Portland. That was actually a January pay-per-view, and then they were working towards a pay-per-view that was going to happen the same weekend as WrestleMania. Yeah, so I believe that this is, if nothing else, their road to WrestleMania and pay-per-view. So it's like an in-between pay-per-view. Right.
Okay, let's get down to the main card, as it were, okay? So we talked about the Dusty Cup. That was the big one. Yeah. By the way, let me very casually mention also Legado del Fantasma, my favorite faction on NXT.
What do you like about them?
I don't believe I forgot the leader's name already. Escobar. Escobar has the charisma, bro. He has the the Latino heat, like, that sort of like that real charisma.
So he's everything Andrade is not lah.
Yes. That's exactly, he is everything Andrade is not, right? And Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, they can work, they can go in the ring, but they have zero personality. So it fits that they are under him and they are his lackeys, right? And I'm just scratching my head. Why is he feuding with Karrion Kross all of a sudden? Is Karrion Kross a cruiserweight now?
Yeah, that was very random because like one time, like I think the last episode, he suddenly appeared and interrupted his whole confrontation.
You know what it is? I think that maybe Escobar has outgrown the cruiserweight title. He needs to drop it, and then he can move on to feud. Like, he has the personality to be he's like Eddie Guerrero lah. You know, he used to be a cruiserweight, and then he outgrew the cruiserweight, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I think he can go and challenge the NXT American title, North American title.
Yeah?
There is a spot that has opened up, given that Damian Priest is now on the main roster, right?
Damian Priest and Bugs Bunny. Okay, it's quite obvious what's going to happen, right? Just to tangent a bit, Damian Priest and Bugs Bunny versus The Miz and Morrison at WrestleMania.
Hey, you know what? If Bad Bunny can bring all his 29 point how many million followers on Instagram to watch WrestleMania, I'm all down with that, bro.
Well, apparently he's training at the Performance Center. Hopefully he'll do a better splash than Snoop Dogg did on AEW.
Yes, for sure. And you know what the best thing is? And I don't know whether I mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
So he got 29 point how many million of followers, right?
Yeah.
He only follows one account, bro.
WWE?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool.
He's a legit fan, bro. If nothing else, I respect him because he's a legit fan. And if imagine, bro, if Drake that loves wrestling and goes into WrestleMania and does all this, it's a big deal. So as much as people shit on Bad Bunny, it is a big deal, bro.
Aren't they trying to get Cardi B in also? That's the rumor. Because Cardi B is a fan.
Yes, Cardi B is a fan. And the funny thing is, Cardi B replied to what was it at the beginning of the year where they got all the legends. They had Legends Night.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned something about like what Cardi B.
Yeah, Tori Wilson angle with Angel Gaza when she said, "Hey, Cardi B and Ariana Grande is waiting for you," and that led to everything blowing up and Cardi B being tagged on Twitter, right?
Yeah. That's the way.
This is the current mainstream audience, bro. Like they will watch WrestleMania for Cardi B. They will watch WrestleMania if The Weeknd perform at WrestleMania.
Exactly. And then hopefully some of those fans will stick around, you know, and become converted fans lah.
Once they see Alexa Bliss can already.
Oh, yo. Talking about Alexa Bliss, we're going to talk about the best and worst love angles, so hang in there. In the meantime, though, let's get to NXT. TakeOver Vengeance Day. So the Dusty Cup, that's been the big thing that has been going on for the past couple of weeks. So we briefly mentioned already MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. That's going to be the finals of the men's. What do you think?
Man, for me, Grizzled Young Veterans all the way, man. They should have won last year, if I'm not wrong. Didn't they make it to the finals as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they did, but they lost out to the Riddles and is it Riddle and Pete Dunne?
Yeah, Riddle and Dunne, yeah.
Yeah, or that was such a short-lived tag team. But yeah, Grizzled Young Veterans, I think they are due a win. They need to go up to the next level. They are almost like bubbling under, just need that big storyline or that big victory to get to the next level.
Interestingly enough, they've been playing a lot of these Imperium vignettes, but yet like not much from Imperium themselves.
Well, Imperium are the tag team champions, right?
Are they?
I don't know. Or did they lose it?
No, I think they lost it already. Oh my god, this is so bad. We don't even know who the tag team champions are.
Because Imperium, I remember Imperium was like feuding for the tag team title. They were champions going for a long time. I think towards the end of the year, they were holding the titles, right? But you're right.
I believe they lost it to somebody. I just forget who. Oh my god.
Are you Googling it now?
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now because I can't believe that we don't remember. Oh, Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. No wonder we don't remember.
Oh, yeah, so they lost that to the... Yeah, it's so weird. So now they're still a faction without Pat McAfee.
Yeah. So
Pete Dunne is like the de facto leader.
I guess. Okay, with that, I mean, that just makes me think that MSK is going to win because MSK is the hot new tag team. You know, they're fun, they are very flashy. Can you imagine them versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch?
Yeah. I mean, that would be a great match. But I personally would like to see Grizzled Young Veterans versus Burch and Orkan because it's going to be a kick-ass, drag-out brawl of a match, man.
Yeah, okay, technically it will be, but you do understand what you are asking for, right? It's two heel teams that aren't very over as heels. So it's a match that is going to be actually quite dead in terms of like excitement for the fans who, you know, might not know better.
But one question, Imperium right now is a face, right?
No, really.
I mean, they've
no, they're heel.
They're still heel?
Yeah.
Okay, so by logic, booking sense, it makes sense for MSK as the face to win because they have more heel tag teams to fight against.
Correct,
is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I would still want Grizzled Young Veterans to win only because like I feel they are due. So even if they're the heel, I feel due a win.
Right.
But yes, going forward, I'm not sure what NXT has in store for their tag team division, man.
Breezango. Again.
My favorite team.
No. Beth Phoenix's favorite team.
I love Breezango too. Holy crap.
Okay. Funnily enough, when I look at the women's bracket, right? I didn't even realize, but yeah, they definitely have less teams. So they only had quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. For the men,
it was
they had
like 8 teams only, right?
Yeah. The men, they had double that, you know? So, but it is what it is. I mean, they're still trying to build that division.
Wait, what? There were 16 men teams in NXT?
Wait, is it 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 16. Yeah, there was 16. There's an extra round.
Okay, bro, my mind is blown. How are there 16 teams in NXT and there's barely like 6 teams to share among Raw and SmackDown? What is this, bro?
Okay, to be fair, they were borrowing. So Lucha House Party was one of the teams. I mean, Lucha House Party technically is on the main roster as well. The Bollywood Boys were there. Technically, they are 205 Live. So Ever Rise, which, you know, once in a while rise up to NXT.
Before that, they down under, is it?
Yeah, they down under, exactly, right? So anyway, so let's move on to the women's division then.
Yep.
And of course, this is a first, and this is going to be historic because the winners will challenge the WWE Tag Team Championship, which I'm laughing because I remember the meme. Nia Jax and the Hole.
My
Hole. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Okay, hold on. Can we just address my hole right now? What the hell was she thinking when okay, so if you don't know what my hole is about, Nia Jax tried to do like a leg drop on the side of the apron onto Lana, but Lana moved.
Yeah.
So she landed ass first, and then she was selling it like and instead of just saying like that hurts on my butt, she said my hole. I'm like, what?
The best part about that was live. You can hear it say "my hole" right before she got thrown into the table, right?
Yeah.
But on the YouTube replay, she said "my butt" first, and then the "my hole" was like Jerry Springer kind of blew like.
What the? But okay, like why did she? I don't know. Maybe it was in the moment. Maybe she wanted to say my whole butt or my asshole. But she censored the ass.
She say my asshole, but she can't say my asshole. So she went for my hole. or she was trying to pop the girls at the back. Like she was trying to say, hey guys, what if I just say hole for no reason? Or like, what if I take this bump and just say my asshole?
Yeah. And then they were like, okay, challenge accepted. And then she went out, my hole.
What if, right, WWE is smart enough to capitalize on this, release some merch, and I can imagine, you know what's the merch gonna look like, bro?
A hole?
No. I already have it in my mind. Like, imagine it's a picture of Nia Jax doing the leg drop at the ring apron, but instead of the ring apron, right, underneath the ring apron is a huge like manhole. So basically, she's dropping into a hole, and then it's like my hole, Nia Jax. Come on, guys, release that merch.
Actually, yeah. If they were smart, right? You're right. They should play out this whole meme. It becomes a storyline. It's like Titus will slide. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Nia Jax, bro, they should run with it. She will be the most unlikely face turn of this decade, bro.
Yes, yeah. And then like Shayna Baszler can be like, what were you saying? You know, like they can try to play it off. I don't know.
I mean, if WWE plays it right, this is like their first viral moment of the year, man. It is already a viral moment.
My whole
funny thing is, I saw their YouTube videos for Raw. It's actually like the second most viewed clip on Raw, bro.
Yeah.
It's like almost 1 million views.
Yeah, because it's my whole. Okay, it's one of those organic viral moments you can't create, or maybe they did create. You never know. Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's go back to NXT Vengeance Day. So Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
What do you have, bro? Who do you got?
Again, I look at the landscape and I look at Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler being champion. It doesn't make sense for Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez to challenge.
Even though Raquel and Dakota Kai look more of like a badass tandem than Shayna and Nia, I feel like Raquel and Shayna face to face, or Naya and I mean Dakota Kai no lah, but Dakota Kai is out of the picture. But any of the two ladies face to face with Raquel Gonzalez is a pretty interesting confrontation.
To me, it's a no heat match. You don't really want to root for any team to win unless they suddenly turn Nia Jax's face with this whole situation.
Oh man!
But with Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, at least that's also a fresh matchup, because let's not forget, I believe Dakota Kai, didn't she get injured by Shayna Baszler? I don't know. Shayna Baszler, remember when she was NXT champion, she was going around breaking everybody's arm?
Yes. I think Dakota Kai was involved, and by that time she was a face. She was like very naive, good girl type, right? I mean, but do you think
there's
they
history
will go
there
to WrestleMania though?
No lah.
As in this tag team championship.
Maybe. And do you think Raquel and Dakota are ready for quote unquote the main roster? I think if you're talking about WrestleMania, then it should be Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, because it seems to me like they have a lot of faith in Shotzi as an entertaining face, and Ember Moon, people remember her from her time on the main roster.
What's your thoughts on Shotzi?
I think she's fine in the ring, as she's a very loud character, and that's what sells lah.
It's tough for me because I remember really loving Ember Moon before she got on the main roster. I thought she had everything, she had badass entrance, she had a badass finisher, badass look.
I don't like her new entrance music, by the way. To me it doesn't fit.
Nah, it's not as great as her previous one. But when she went to the main roster, I don't know if it's a height or something, but I mean she's not the tallest girl, but for some reason she didn't translate well, or she wasn't given opportunities.
Yeah, it's the booking lah. It's always about the booking, I don't think in terms of a work rate or athleticism, she's not watching matches, she's always been good. It's just that they just had nothing to do with her lor, or nothing for her, I mean. Yeah,
they need to build up the story. That's what I'm saying. If they're going to WrestleMania, Ember is too cold in terms of momentum, even though she's paired up with this fresh new young face in Shotzi.
Yeah.
But it needs to be a good story lah.
Then if you're talking about WrestleMania, lagi worse if you put Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai in there. Lagi worse.
They've been building up, Raquel as this beast of a girl. But if you talk about charisma, no lah, she's not a charisma beast. She's a charisma hole.
Oh no. Okay, so let's move along. To be honest, I don't know what it is. I'm not excited about this year's tag team classics at all. Okay, the men's I guess it's because it's two fresh young faces, so they need Edge and Christian / Hardy Boys moment at No Mercy. These two tag teams, they just go and tear the house down and try to prove to the world that they belong. They need that kind of moment. Yes.
For the women, I mean, as weird as it is to say, this is actually the two best tag teams that could be competing against each other. In terms of when you look at the whole division from the whole tournament.
The whole tournament.
That wasn't intentional, okay? That wasn't. But yes, if you talk about the tag team division that took part in the tournament, these two are technically the one with the best heat, I guess, the most connection right now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is a reflection of the division, but there you go.
I kind of was hoping that The Way would rise to the top, because I really do enjoy the Gargano way, his whole faction that he's put together. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, to be honest, they have been sort of the weaker link in that group, because Gargano has been killing it as this annoying dick heel. I actually, at first when he turned and then they were doing this whole family thing, I was like, is this gonna work? Then every week I'm like, he's being more and more of this chicken shit heel. I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. I like what he's doing, especially with Austin Theory. Austin Theory being this young, very talented guy who obviously can gain a lot from Johnny Gargano's experience.
Let's face it, man, Gargano, it's actually been the Gargano show lah. This whole The Way faction. Gargano is the thing that's making it awesome. And it's so weird because I've seen him as this number one underdog babyface of NXT for the longest time. I was actually very sad when I found out that apparently I thought he got injured. There were news coming out, breaking out in the earlier part of the week, right? But it was a whole ruse.
Yeah lah, it was you got worked, bro. You got worked.
I got worked.
Yeah. He came out and was on a wheelchair even though his arm was injured, and then they made this whole thing, and then Wade Barrett was like, trying to defend him. I thought that was quite funny lah.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
Go ahead.
So the I guess they are gonna contend for the title at this NXT Takeover. Gargano.
Oh no! Gargano has. You mean himself for the North American Championship? Yes. Gargano
correct.
versus Kushida, who still to me is cold as ice. I mean, he's been.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to understand like how did the NXT American Championship? Because in my opinion, I'm still thinking of like the Gargano storyline with Damian Priest not Leo Rush. Was his
Leon Ruff. Leo Rush, Leon Ruff. Oh my
Leo
god.
Rush 2.0 lah, basically. Yeah, so my mind was still on that. But how did it transition into Kushida and Gargano fighting?
Well, it started from the start of the Dusty Cup. Their first match was The Way versus Kushida and Leon Ruff. And Kushida and Leon Ruff actually beat Gargano and Austin Theory, thus pissing Gargano off. Then they attack each other. You know how they built this whole thing from there lah. For whatever reason though, I don't know, maybe Kushida needs to ditch his freaking jeans and outfit and his whole Back to the Future theme. It's not working for me. Nothing, he's been more aggressive, but like for whatever reason, I don't buy it. When I used to see Tajiri out there, when I used to see which other like very intense, like Shinsuke, I'm like, oh shit, they seem like badasses. But with Kushida, it doesn't translate for me.
The jeans look, I don't know, man.
Jamie Noble-esque.
Yeah, I was
Why
thinking
just
like
steal my jeans?
Holy crap! Now you mention it, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, I think to me, Kushida is the presentation, his outfits and everything. He looks like he's not dressed seriously, so why do I take him seriously?
Yeah. He might be suffering from the Kenta problem as well. His reputation precedes him in New Japan, and everyone expect him to like come and like be on a house on fire. Because the difference between how Shinsuke was treated coming into NXT and how Kenta and now Kushida was treated, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference. And to be fair, Kushida, even though he was a well-known name in New Japan, he wasn't contending for the top titles.
Right, he wasn't Shinsuke level lah.
He wasn't. He was actually essentially a mid-carder, bro. His time splitter gimmick, and also he was also a tag team with Alex Shelley. So we are not taking him seriously because WWE is not taking him seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, so there's this whole like angle as well with Dexter Lumis and Austin Theory. That's sort of part of this. So it's interesting that I don't know. Maybe I feel like this could be a sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a no finish match. Like Gargano wins, retains, but it's some bullshit ending. Austin Theory gets involved. Dexter Lumis gets involved. I want to see a 4-way actually
between all four of them.
Yeah, at some point, and this could be like how they put over Austin Theory, because let's face it, Johnny Gargano as champion, he's there to sort of put the other younger talent over. That is the whole point, right?
So are you already signaling like a dissension between Theory and Gargano? I mean, eventually that might happen. That obviously will happen.
Maybe at WrestleMania, hopefully slowly. I mean, the point of Theory and Gargano being together is for Theory to get pushed, right?
Yep,
it's not for Gargano's sake. Gargano is already a name. So right now, I want to see maybe a triple threat or a 4-way somewhere down the line for the US title, for the not US title, a North American title.
I mean, to be honest, it's a really strong list of contenders right now. Even on the mid-card, title on NXT.
Yep.
Hey, I got one person I'm wondering where he is. My favorite guy on NXT. Why is he disappearing again?
Who?
The Velveteen Dream.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Is he injured or just taking a break? Yeah.
He had the entire Me Too situation. He came back and then he was like, a bit lower down the card.
And then he disappeared.
Then I think after Thanksgiving, like after October or what, I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, he feuded with Kushida actually for a bit and then just kind of disappeared. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Kushida broke his arm for a shoot.
Man, Velveteen is another guy that I kind of really want him to succeed in spite of all the troubles that's been happening.
He needs time. He needs time to get there.
Yeah,
I think he's still very young.
Good that he has age on his side, for sure.
So that's the North American Championship. I don't think Kushida is winning this. I feel no excitement about him in this match.
Yeah, Gargano is too strong a character, especially now, still in the infancy. His heel run.
Honestly, I rather they hand it off to Dexter Lumis than Kushida.
What does Dexter Lumis remind you of? I'm trying to place what you like comparisons with him.
I can't really like tortured artist, sort of creepy ass, like he stands there and just stares at you.
Maybe he's this generation's Hayden Reich.
Hayden Reich. Remember his entrance music? Hayden Reich.
Hayden Reich, I remember.
And then he wanted to read Michael Cole a poem. It was
But
It was
I think
awkward.
Loomis has this aura about him, right? It's funny though. He can come across as really, really menacing, but he can come across as like a bit of a caricature. Like it's like almost like a joke like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the name Dexter. I mean, he picked the name Dexter because of the TV show Dexter, who's this like serial killer, but he's like a good guy, quote unquote. So I think that's where they're going with him, lah.
Perhaps, but maybe it's his Zoolander smile or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He got the Zoolander.
You know his art is his art, right?
Like he literally is an artist.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
For whatever reason, when I found out about that, because I saw an Instagram post and I clicked on the link. It was his personal Instagram page, and then there was his art. It's like, oh, he's a real artist. I'm sure at some creative meeting, it's like the whole Undertaker or Paul Bearer thing, right? Yeah. So what do you do? What are your hobbies? I'm an artist. Oh, and becomes the tortured artist.
I love it though. I love it. I mean, this is better than Eggman, for sure.
Eggman. Throw back to the Undertaker story. Okay. I think we both agree Gargano should win this one, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Let's move on then to Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez. Thank goodness she left Retribution for the NXT Women's Championship.
Yes, thank God, man. See, look at what happened. Mercedes Martinez is contending for the titles. And where's Mia Yim?
Oh gosh. At home with Keith Lee.
Yes. Getting the BBC.
Oh, you mean he's practicing his finisher on her?
Yes, the Big Bang Catastrophe.
That's right. Okay.
Yes,
so this week we saw vignettes from Io Shirai. Speaking Japanese, she should only do that. I wish Asuka would do that. Sometimes her promos, when they force her to speak English, are a bit rough.
Yeah, Io Shirai, Japanese, damn hot.
End of
story.
Sure, okay. Io Shirai, Toni Storm as well. Also very hot. And Mercedes Martinez, she did this, she has the whole mask thing. I was like, very socially responsible. I like it, especially during COVID times.
Yeah. Or maybe she's giving a homage to her Retribution gimmick.
Maybe, right? So what do you think of this match though?
Okay, Toni Storm right now is a heel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, obviously, Mercedes Martinez is a heel.
Yeah.
And Io Shirai, she's the face, de facto face, but she kind of walks around and acts like a heel.
Yeah, but she's a face, technically.
Yeah, she's a face. So the problem is, I don't feel that she's in peril at all.
Yeah, neither do I. To be honest though, okay, I don't know if she's not in peril or she's just a bit cold right now. I feel like she is a bit cold. In fact, I feel like they are putting more emphasis on like Shotzi, on Raquel. They've been building them up, but kind of left Shirai on the side. Like she hasn't been portrayed like very, very strong recently also.
She left, like they're giving her the Asuka treatment.
Yeah.
Like even though she's the champion.
Yeah.
But they just let her be, which is weird because shouldn't you center your entire division around her?
Well, yeah, if anything, if you build your champion up to be indestructible, then the person who beats the champion gets all that heat, right? So now I feel like Shirai has very little heat. She's cooling down tremendously from when she first won it. And like even if she does pass it on to Toni Storm or Mercedes Martinez, it'd be like, okay lor.
I think the problem with Io Shirai is a lot of people just assume that she's badass and just leave it at that and like, okay, expect her to like keep this aura from inactivity.
But no, you have to build what? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And also, Toni as a heel still needs time to, simmer and build.
What Io needs right now is a really well-built opponent. Like, somebody with a lot of great momentum who can actually pose a threat.
Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, and that's the next question I wanted to ask. Why is Rhea Ripley not in this match?
I feel like, okay, maybe they're preparing her for the main roster already. Maybe she's going to debut on Raw and SmackDown sometime in the next few weeks.
But if she were to, make a big splash on SmackDown or on Raw, it should have been the Raw right after Royal Rumble, man. It would have made the biggest sets. Imagine, Bianca Belair won.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley comes out and says, you know what? I'm going to make my debut on Raw and I'm still going to fight for the titles. If nothing else, her being in the mixer against the Asukas, the Charlotte Flairs, the Lacey Evans.
Oof.
And that is something that I guess I have to touch upon, because it seems like Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans is going to be fighting at WrestleMania. That means Asuka might lose her title to Lacey Evans, which scares the shit out of me.
Oh my god, yes. Well, actually, if you think about it, Ric Flair is probably going to get involved. Maybe Charlotte Flair will get involved and then cost Asuka the title, and that breaks their friendship up. So there's a separate angle there as well.
Yes, correct. And if you saw what happened on Raw, they literally had a number one contenders match between Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans, which Lacey Evans won.
Yeah, because of Ric Flair.
Yes, and now I feel like, WWE going into WrestleMania season, they want all the well-known names on the roster, right? So obviously Ric Flair will somehow be involved. So it's gonna be Lacey and Charlotte for the Raw title. Apparently, I guess.
I agree that that's probably what's gonna happen. I don't like that it's what's gonna happen. Where does that leave Asuka?
Yeah, but imagine if Rhea Ripley came in right after Royal Rumble. And went up to Asuka. It's like, you know what? Or like Charlotte Flair, like, you know what? You go win back your title. I want to have a rematch.
Right.
I think they deserve that.
I think if anything for Rhea, they probably want to space out the quote unquote reveals, and because you already had Damian Priest debuting on Raw, right? So you want to spread it out a little bit. And then Seth Rollins is returning to SmackDown. So if anything, I think what they don't want to have too many returns or debuts all at once.
Fair enough. Like I said, if Rhea Ripley doesn't picture into this match, I think that's the reason why it's so cool. Because Rhea Ripley technically has the best momentum
right
among
now.
Future contenders or potential contenders to Io Shirai.
So the question is, do you see Tony or Mercedes actually picking up the victory? I'm pretty sure if the title were to change hands, Shirai or Io will not be pinned. It's one or the other, right?
But nah, I don't think so. I honestly don't think Toni Storm is ready. I think Mercedes Martinez is a veteran, but she
just came back.
Yeah, she just came back, and she's not hot enough. As in, not physically hot, but I'm saying like not momentumly hot. That's like terrible use of English, but yeah.
Then again, none of them are hot. None of them have the heat right now. If you think about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, man. I mean, like, for 3 hot girls, they should be hot. I mean,
yeah. Well, okay. The one thing though is that they keep bringing back the storyline of Toni Storm winning the Mae Young Classic and she beat Io Shirai. So there is something to that.
Yep.
If Toni actually beats Io and then you could go back. See, I've always had your number. Or if Io beats Toni and is like, okay, see, now I've avenged my loss at the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, bro, I hope that Io Shirai stays in NXT for the longest time. So even if she loses her title, I don't hope she doesn't get called up.
What if then Io Shirai and Asuka versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at WrestleMania? I would rather watch that.
Ooh. Kabuki Warriors Part 2.
Yeah, yes. Oh, and then the return of Kairi Sane. Oh, that would be awesome.
Love it.
And
love it.
They might become the next Kai and Tai. Oh no.
I miss Kairi though.
Oh, yes. I think we all miss Kairi. Okay, and now we move on to I'm going to assume the main event.
Well, they better be the main event.
The all-European main event, interestingly enough. Finn Balor, the Prince, versus Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight. I am looking forward to this. This is going to be an exciting, brutal, very physical, very snug match for sure.
I feel very privileged that we got the chance to see Pete Dunne perform live. And technically, right, bro, we can be those kind of smarks that say that, hey, you know what? We saw Pete Dunne, when he was still in the, working the indie shows. Gotta shake his hand.
You did, I didn't. So I don't have the experience, unfortunately.
But it's okay. The cool thing about him was when I shook his hand.
And did he break your fingers?
No, he didn't break my fingers. Thank God he didn't. But I asked him, hey, let's take a photo together. And then he was like, he got the very is it a Cockney accent or like this
Cockney.
Very British Vinnie Jones kind of slang? Yeah, come on, man, let's do it.
Hey, you should post that photo on our Instagram page.
I can't remember that I have. I have a photo of it.
Yeah. Dude, post it, bro. We want to see that. The Bruiserweight.
But he didn't punch me lah. I just punched myself. But he just stayed there. He gave the face. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, obviously this is the match everyone is looking forward to. I think this is it should be the main event, and it will be the match that delivers.
Yeah, man. One thing I love about the build-up so far is that it's a build up on a storyline that Pete Dunne is leading this faction.
Yep.
I guess taking charge of what Pat McAfee is not doing.
Yep.
and man, the thing about Finn Balor right now is that he's right now operating on another level, just like what it said. His character is like on point. He walks around like a badass. And I feel like, as great as it is, I wish Finn Balor was like this, but in the main roster.
Do you really though? Because I feel like they wouldn't give him the time to express himself and be the way he is. I feel like if he was in the main roster, he'd be like an upper mid card guy.
That's the thing though. Like when he first, debuted on Raw, when he was the number 1 draft pick in 2006, where he was contending for the Universal title with Seth Rollins. Do you remember that whole 1 month build up?
Yeah.
He had victories against Roman Reigns. And then they did like this entire like deep dive into the folklore of like his
demons,
Balor legend, and like the vignettes was so badass. And he got to cut like really this kind of dark promos that he's doing right now as his Prince character. I felt like WWE was putting the entire machine behind him, like he's gonna make him one of the new stars of that Raw era. And right now, it feels like he's rehabilitating his image in NXT, but he deserves nothing else, bro, to win back that Universal title that he never lost. First of all, even though, yes, he had that blow-off match with Roman Reigns and he lost that. But this new character, he should be a much bigger star than he is. Like he's a big fish in a small pond right now. But I feel he can do whatever he's doing right now, and he can translate well fighting against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
We know he can pull it off. It's whether WWE creative are going to let him pull it off at the end of the day.
And the issue is right now is with age. And a lot of people brought it up, especially with Elimination Chamber. That the WWE Championship is contended by all these former champions are all in their 40s. And Finn Balor is just turned 40 basically this year.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird because when he was, when he joined Raw for the first time in 2016, he was in his mid-30s. That was prime time to push him as the main guy. So all this like kind of wasted time. It feels bad. I mean, as a big fan of Finn Balor, knowing his his credentials, his wrestling ability, NXT, as great as NXT is as a brand, I wish he was on a bigger stage with this current character.
I think he's happy where he is, to be honest, and I'm sure they're paying him well, so I don't think he's suffering at all. And if anything, even if he just like, let's say, retires after this match, which he won't, obviously, right? I mean, he's already had that spot, that time in the sun, so it doesn't seem like he is eager or is like, oh, I got to be getting back there anytime soon. So just give it time, I'm sure it'll come. And if it doesn't, I think his legacy speaks for itself.
And the best thing is, when we put out a poll on Insta Story, whether who should Edge face at WrestleMania. The options, I didn't put Drew McIntyre, but I put whether it's Edge and Roman or Edge and Balor. Guess who got the higher votes?
Of course, Edge and Balor lah, but you know why, right? Because it's like the freshest match you could have. Yeah. And okay, Edge and Balor will be a pro wrestling match. The greatest pro wrestling match ever?
Maybe. Edge and Roman will be a great sports entertainment match.
Yes. Either way, though, I think you can't go wrong with those two choices. So, I mean, they're in a good spot lah.
Yeah.
Then again, of course, at Elimination Chamber, Drew could lose his title, and then we have Randy Orton versus Edge Part 3.
Yeah. That's what like the people are saying online. They're saying, oh my God, what if Randy Orton wins and it's going to be Edge and Randy Orton? Holy crap.
Okay, to be honest, remember a couple of months ago, we actually wanted to see that match, right? We were like,
it's a blow-off match for sure, but I don't know whether it should be for the title, the main event, or WrestleMania though.
Right. Okay lah. I still am hoping for Reigns or Finn Balor. Actually, more Reigns, because Roman Reigns needs somebody to dance with at WrestleMania, and as it as it is right now, like, what are they gonna do? Kevin Owens again?
Nah. I think Kevin Owens had his time in the sun. Even though I really enjoy.
Yeah.
You saw last week what happened on SmackDown, right?
Well, he just showed up and stunned the shit out of him,
Yeah. I mean, no, that is one thing, but the promo before that.
Oh yeah.
When Roman Reigns lost his shit and Paul Heyman's reaction.
Yeah. Of course.
Why is he doing this to me?
Yeah, I think Edge and Roman, for me, that is my pick. And Finn can do something with somebody else.
Yeah, I think Edge and Roman will be great. And I mean, we're going on a bit of a tangent with regards to NXT, but I just wanted to wrap it up by saying that I love how Edge is playing his cards right now, keeping it waiting, and it's great that he announced straight away like I only like know what to do once the smoke is clear after Elimination Chamber.
I.e., drag it out and make people watch lah. I mean,
yeah. And I think that's what I always liked about like last time when they were doing all their Road to WrestleMania angles. My favorite, personally to me, was like Chris Benoit, and also the John Cena / Batista angle. Where do you remember this in 2005 after Batista won the Royal Rumble? Then Triple H was telling him like, hey, you know what? You should go to SmackDown. You should challenge
I remember
JBL.
That.
Yeah. Then Evolution will rule both shows, right? And then at the No Way Out pay-per-view, JBL won his like barbed wire steel cage match against Big Show.
Yep.
And then Batista came out. And then he was like, oh shit, is he really going to go through with this, go to SmackDown?
Yeah.
And then at the same time he came out, John Cena came out. Because John Cena at that point in time won his number one contenders title. So it's technically supposed to be John Cena and JBL. But then Batista being there teasing that it could be a potential triple threat.
Yep.
It felt like a big deal for me. Like, oh, you'll never know until like he for sure says.
Yeah, that unpredictability that, for a lot of us, I feel like has been lacking in the past couple of months. So if anything, this whole Elimination Chamber makes us try to doubt, especially in the age of the dirt sheets and internet rumors and stuff like that. So it is, I think this year's build towards WrestleMania has been quite a good one.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that right now we do not know who's going to be the main event.
Yeah.
This time last year we know it was Drew and Brock for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I'm all for it. I'm just wondering who is Sheamus, as in like how is Sheamus going to somehow finagle his way and get that number one-on-one match with Drew? Is that going to be a WrestleMania caliber event? I don't know.
It's going to be on Raw. I'm sorry, but I feel like it's going to be a blow-off match on Raw before Drew goes on to WrestleMania, or whoever has the title goes on to WrestleMania.
So the big question mark is Drew. Who's Drew going to face?
Can you imagine Drew versus Sheamus at WrestleMania, but not for the title? That's a bit of a letdown, right?
No, man.
Yeah. So Edge needs to go and target Roman Reigns. Go there.
You know what? I'm honestly alright if Drew fights like a legend or returning guy, at WrestleMania, because I don't think he's gonna be the main story.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, you know what? I think Drew versus Brock in front of a crowd, even though it's a small crowd, but in front of a crowd, I think he deserves that victory lap.
That moment basically, that was taken away from him.
Yeah. So Finn Balor and Pete Dunne, Finn Balor to retain for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Okay, so moving on then, it is, Vengeance Day, but obviously it's supposed to be like a play on Valentine's Day. We threw up a poll on our Insta stories, and we want to share as well our memories of your favorite love angles, love storylines from pro wrestling. I mean, there have been so many, and why not, right? It is a part of our lives, and pro wrestling, if anything, is a caricature of our lives.
Correct.
So right now, though, do you want to share yours? If you want to think of a best and the worst.
Yeah. I mean, I can talk about mine, but I would love to hear what our listeners say at first.
Sure. Okay, so Div Royalty says Phoenix and Maria was so sweet and then so sad in Lucha Underground. Okay, this one I have no idea of. Never watched it.
Lucha Underground, is it? I think when she's talking about Phoenix, it's actually Rey Phoenix.
Oh, okay. So they had a thing lah, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know which Maria, because I don't remember Maria Kanellis being in Lucha Underground.
Right. Enzo and Nia Jax was so awkward. Remember that short-lived thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit.
I wouldn't consider that a love angle. It was just like a
flirtation angle.
Flirtation thing, yeah. And also my hole. Power couple Stephanie and Triple H. Yes.
Of course.
Who could forget from their wedding in Vegas? I mean, first of all, that shit is not going to fly in 2021. Okay.
They have been ruling our TV screens for 2 decades already.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
And
Talk
then,
about a long angle, man.
Yeah, and then it turns out they were working together, and then they still turned on each other. Steph got with Chris Jericho for a while to turn on Triple H, blah, blah, blah.
You know what's the best part is, in real life, they only got married in late 2003. So before they even got married,
They got married.
they had a fake marriage and they had a fake divorce
Right.
before marriage.
Yeah. Okay. Div also says was looking forward to Aaliyah, Mysterio, and Buddy Murphy, but looks like they dropped it. Yo, this to me is the worst one because of the potential. And
So much what ifs.
you guys know I've been saying this week after week during the whole Messiah versus the Mysterios storyline. This could have been the telenovela crazy love story angle that WWE wanted, right? In freaking Otis and Mandy, but we'll get to that one in just a bit. To me, this is the biggest squandered opportunity. They had it right there in their hands. You had Humberto Carrillo in the mix, who could have played the potential boyfriend that Rey Mysterio wanted Aaliyah to have, but she was interested in the bad boy. But we didn't know if the bad boy buddy was actually a good guy or he's actually still working for Seth. There were so many freaking layers to it. It could have been a telenovela, but they shit the bed with it. And that's why, to me, it's the worst storyline as far as a love storyline is concerned.
There's only one plausible reason why this did not work out.
Why?
One day they just look at Aaliyah, they look at Buddy, they look at Humberto, and then they decided all these people cannot act worth a shit.
Hey, okay, it doesn't freaking matter. Sometimes you don't need to act well, okay? And this leads me to my next point, because several people also bring up the Otis Mandy one. Best recent love angle. You know what? To be honest, now that I look back on it, I actually disagree. It was one of those aspirational stories, right? Every fat disgusting slop. I'm kidding.
Holy crap.
But you know what I mean? It's an aspirational story. Oh, look, someone like Otis could finally land someone like Mandy. You know what killed it for me though?
What?
And I'm pretty sure this is the reason why they didn't pursue this angle. Mandy didn't seem to be into it. Her acting is not good enough that it would have sold me on this angle. To me, the entire time, even though it was such a hot angle, right? To me, she didn't look like she was really that into him. When you look at Seth and Becky, when you look at Triple H and Stephanie, when you look at the real couples when they are together, there's this chemistry. They had no chemistry.
They had no, when you say it like that, yes, it's always Otis, like being in love and lovey-dovey. And then like Mandy's like, oh, Otis, you know, you're so sweet.
I'm play acting being in love. And I think it came across. And unfortunately, Mandy is not that good an actress. So I did not buy it at all. I mean, it was an interesting angle, but I never really was invested.
So I guess basically that you're trying to describe like every like wrestling fans love life lah. Like they are into the girls, but the girls are never into them lah.
Oh no, you did not just go there. Hey,
all the more it should become relatable, right?
No. But the thing is, they were trying to play it off as if she was interested. It seemed fake to me.
You know what would have worked?
What?
Like honestly, and I think like on hindsight, they should have gone down this route. So it became like a rivalry between
Dana?
Mandy and
Sonia.
Mandy and Sonia. So like the love angle from there became to Mandy and Sonia, right?
Yeah.
They can have had their feud, they can have like their, beach fight and all that. But then actually when push comes to shove, Mandy actually betrays Otis. And then gets back together with Sonia as like a heel team.
Tag team. Or goes out with Dolph or whatever. That was the storyline, remember?
Yeah. Because I feel like when you say it like that, if Mandy was so-called legit, like play acting in the storyline all around, like, he was in love with him, but actually when I realized like, why am I in love? I deserve the best. I'm a goddess, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to like,
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, that would work.
To me, this whole thing didn't work because she's just a terrible actress, okay? I'll just put it out there.
All the more, you shouldn't want this whole Aaliyah telenovela angle to work.
I think they were fine. You didn't have to. And plus, you had Seth and you had Ray to sort of play it up as well. And have you watched Days of Our Lives?
Bro, you know what would be the most Days of Our Life twist?
What?
Then in the end, she leaves Buddy Murphy. She entertains Humberto. She might even have a fling with Garza.
Oh God!
But the person that she really ends up with in the end, Bad Bunny.
Oh, stop it, lah. Stop it. Well, okay. I wanted to get to the point. That when you watch these telenovelas, they aren't exactly the best acted. It's just very dramatic and outrageous.
Over the top, yeah.
What sells it is the over-the-top storytelling. Not
and the zooms,
acting.
bro.
And the zooms, yeah. So they could have... Anyway, I get pissed off when I think about that because of the lost potential. Okay, here we go. Irvin Kia says, worst love angle was Kane, Lita, Hardy, Snitsky, baby. but I couldn't look away. That wasn't so much a love angle as it was like freaking borderline sexual assault.
Yeah. It was the psychotic kind of love story that somehow is so bad it's good and entertaining. I don't know why.
It's like a car crash. You can't look away from it, right?
You can't look away.
Mr. Stubius says Billy and Chuck was both good and bad.
yes. And the song and their theme songs were great.
Yes. You look so good to me. I mean, it led to the whole Eric Bischoff and that was the best prosthetic, by the way, ever used in WWE. I had no idea it was Eric Bischoff. That led to that moment. So I mean, something good came of it. Is it Urfi or 3RFIE says love triangle between CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and AJ Lee. That's the favorite. The least favorite, Alicia Fox and Edge.
Alicia Fox and because Alicia Fox was his wedding planner to Vicky Guerrero. Yeah.
I bet. Oh yeah. Now that you mentioned Vicky Guerrero, now I remember it. Right. Then like he was like hitting on her because he was like, cheating on Vicky, was it?
Yes, correct.
And because he was with Vicky, because Vicky was the SmackDown GM at the time, and he wanted the power,
and because of this, Vicky, this was towards the road to WrestleMania 25. So Vicky enlisted the help of Big Show, then it became a triple threat. John Cena was involved, blah blah blah. Okay, was it Triple H? I think it was Triple H.
I vaguely remember the storyline, but I don't remember it being bad. So.
I guess so. I mean, but if nothing else, it gave us Alicia Fox. Woo.
Yeah. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee. I stopped watching wrestling at that point. So do you remember this one?
Of course, bro. Oh man, this was one of the things that you would have enjoyed watching about wrestling because were you there with regards to AJ's run in the roster?
Not really, no.
Okay, so AJ Lee, she started off as this like geeky, nerdy chick. She was playing that angle, right? And then she became this like naive, super puppy dog in love with Daniel Bryan.
Oh.
This was before the Yes movement happened. So if you recall, at WrestleMania 28, Daniel Bryan had a match with Sheamus for the world title.
Yeah. And
then she gave him a kiss on the apron.
Yeah.
And then in 12 seconds, he kind of bro kick and
remember.
he lost the title at the opening match. You remember that?
Yes.
So after that, obviously, heel Daniel Bryan was berating AJ, make her feel like shit, blah, blah, blah. And this point in time, he was, contending for the WWE Championship against CM Punk. So CM Punk being like the nice guy, defended AJ in storyline.
Yeah.
And
were they married
AJ
already or, together already or in real life?
They're married. So I guess this whole, is similar like Triple H and Stephanie They working together. Probably they kind of fell in love during this period because AJ Lee, started to have those like puppy dog. Because like, the whole gimmick with her is like she's like this crazy chick, right?
Yeah.
So while she's been like all puppy dog with Daniel Bryan, CM Punk stood up for her, but also tell her like, you should leave this guy. He's not treating you well, blah blah blah. And then like CM Punk like low-key, smooth. He just say, you know what? I dig crazy chicks.
Oh.
Then it's like, hey, cari chance only,
That's why.
And then from her fixation transferred from Daniel Bryan to CM Punk.
Right.
Yeah, so like when CM Punk, entertains her a bit, and then she got super crazy into CM Punk to dress up like CM Punk wearing his t-shirt and all that.
Sure.
Yeah, and then they had this triple threat match between I can't remember if it was a triple threat match. Oh no, but AJ Lee became a special guest referee for their title match at one of the following pay-per-views. And obviously now Daniel Bryan realized that shit, AJ Lee is like in charge of my destiny.
Yeah.
So he tried to sayang her a bit and then like CM Punk is like trying to be all like stoic as a champion. You know what? I care about you, but I can't return my feelings for you, blah blah blah. And then she even went down the crazy route where she actually bent down on one knees and asked CM Punk to marry her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, bro, drama. Then obviously CM Punk say no.
Yeah.
Then she go even more crazy lah. Then she throw both of them through the table.
I wish WWE put together like a special feature on all of the love angles or the biggest love storylines in history of WWE. They should have done that for Valentine's Day, huh?
They should actually they should
Yeah.
No, they still got a few more days. Let's put something together.
Okay, Edison, what's up? Says Mandy and Otis. Okay, we touched on that already. The Trickster says the one with Cena and Maria. Do you remember
Cena
this?
And Maria. I remember this. I think it's 2006. Okay, let me try to jog your memory whether you remember this.
Okay.
Maria at that point in time was a backstage interviewer.
Yeah.
So she was playing this dumb gimmick. She's asking a lot of stupid questions, and she's just being overall dumb lah.
Bimbo lah. They're trying to paint her as a
she's
bimbo.
being a bimbo. And
Yeah.
then CM Punk was like, no, not CM Punk. John Cena was, I think, in his first run as champion, where he just got on Raw. He was feuding with Kurt Angle. He was feuding with Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
And I guess Eric Bischoff was berating Maria, for being a bimbo, and then asking a lot of stupid questions. So and then John Cena said like, just ask your question, it's all cool. And then she asked like a very stupid question.
So he was very nice to her lah, essentially.
Yeah, he was very nice to her. But then he did something very naughty, which you can only get away during that era.
Oh God.
She was saying that, you know what, you should use, what you should use, you should cover up your weaknesses and play on your strengths, play on your assets.
What?
And then he put his put his hands on the face, on the cheek, on the chin, and then went for a kiss.
Oh.
This is a backstage.
What?
I will send you the link.
Okay, sure.
And then after she said that, and then she was like, oh, okay, she was like enamored with him lah.
Yeah.
And then he go slap her ass, yeah.
Oh, actually, I feel like I remember this.
Yeah, it was a backstage interview.
Yeah. So
like,
was it a long-running love angle though, or was it just a flirtatious sort of a...
I think it was like a flirtatious 1 or 2 segment thing, because I remember they actually eventually put Maria in a mixed tag team match with John Cena.
Oh my God. So okay lah, this was like, I wouldn't consider this like a proper love angle. It's more like a one-off, like maybe for 3 weeks and we're done.
Yeah, like a 2-3 week, like he flirt with the backstage interviewer.
Yeah. Right,
like
right.
It's like if imagine like Drew McIntyre had a 3-week fling with Charlie Caruso, something like that lah.
Wow, the height disparity on that couple. So if they were a couple.
That's true.
Anyway, okay, so thank you very much for all the suggestions, all definitely bringing back memories. We wanted to share with you some of ours as well. So let's get down to our favorite. And I already shared my worst storyline. It's the Buddy Murphy, Leah Mysterio, because of the wasted opportunity. Let me tell you, or let me share you my favorite love storyline, and I think you can guess this one already, bro, because it has to do with the fact that, and I keep alluding to the fact that it's also better if it's a real life couple.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you have those like real emotions coming out. And this goes back to my very first feud in WWE history that I remember, which was the Mega Powers exploding. Of course, it has to be Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Now, here's the thing. You remember when I first started watching, Randy Savage was a good guy. He was always with Elizabeth. They were already a couple.
Yeah,
and they were always... And Miss Elizabeth had that air of like, she's this sweet lady who's there with her man. She's there to support him. And then there was that slow turn of he becoming jealous of Hulk Hogan. Why are you looking at my woman? I saw you with your lust. You had lust in your eyes.
Lust in your eyes.
Towards Hulk Hogan. And then Macho Man became the Macho King. He did a full heel turn. He feuded with Hulk Hogan. And he teamed up with Sensational Sherry, if you remember as well.
Yes.
But everyone still at the time, and I was a kid at that time, so, but he's supposed to be with Elizabeth. We all have that friend who breaks up with their girlfriend and then find somebody new, but we are all like at the back or at his back going, actually he should be with the other girl, the other girl was better. You have friends like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, people tell me all the time I should get back with some girls.
Yeah, right. Like they were right for you, sort of that mentality. So I think as a kid, that's what I felt. That was what that story line brought out in me. Even though when Randy Macho King was with Sherry, Sensational Sherry, they didn't really play that up, but in the back of your mind, you knew it. Like, come on, they had the wedding and everything. And then when Macho Man finally turned face again, and then they got back together again, that was that moment that was like, all fans remember, this is how it used to be. It's like that Cinderella story. Finally, the hero and the damsel, or the love interest, they finally get together.
And like the people in the crowd were crying, right? I remember like seeing people in the crowd crying. It was quite,
I just don't remember if the wedding was before or after. I think, now thinking back, it might have been after. The wedding might have been after Randy turned face again, got back with Miss Elizabeth, then they went for the wedding, then Jake the Snake.
The wedding, if I recall, was at SummerSlam.
Okay. So
them turning face was at WrestleMania of that year. So I think the wedding was after.
So after lah, right. But
because why I remember it was because it's the first ever wedding that didn't really have interference. Like that whole ceremony went through until at the end, at the back. Backstage, right? Because of the snake.
With the snake, for me, best storyline, hands down, Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth, both because of how they dragged it out. There were turns. He had a phase. Everybody goes through a phase where he's a bad boy dating some bad chick, right? And then they finally got back together. And to know that they were actually together in real life, in love as well.
Yes. I mean, wrestling when done right and when it's really authentic, it gives you the feels, lah.
Yeah. Speaking of authentic, by the way, I don't want to like accidentally step on what is your choice. So okay, go ahead with your worst and best.
I mean, it's okay. I have, funnily enough, my choices hasn't appeared on any of the listeners' choices or suggestions.
Yeah, there are a lot of love angles all throughout the history, right? Of WWE, pro wrestling. So some honorable mentions maybe right now, Kane and Lita. We kind of touched on it. Mark Henry and Mae Young. I mean, that was a whole thing, okay? That culminated in a hand being given birth to. So,
I mean, if nothing else, the storyline went from A to Z, lah. They really carried through the storyline, so it's okay, lah.
And it is very meme-worthy. When you look back on it, obviously when we watched it, we're like, what the hell is this garbage they're doing, right? But when you look back on it, it's like, those were fun times. Those were crazy times. We talked about Edge Edge and Vicky Guerrero being a storyline.
Yes, Edge and Vicky.
Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. This is one example of a real life relationship that didn't play out properly on screen.
You know why? Because both were so fixated on like leaving their gimmick and protecting their gimmick, right?
Yeah.
And coming across as the number one badasses in their division. They don't want to act in love. Yeah,
there was no real like vulnerable moment between the two. I know they put them up against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in that weird like winner take all match, right? Yeah. But you're right, there was no vulnerability because they were at the height of their badassness.
Yeah. So like, I mean, if nothing else, they're like this. They're more like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like trying to be all cool and flirty, but
that didn't work. And then after that, they just abandoned the whole thing. So.
That's good. Okay, for mine, the worst one, and it's a very recent one.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. Can I guess?
Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
Rusev.
And Lana.
Enough said.
Of course. That one, don't even need to explain.
I can't believe I sat through all that with weeks and weeks of you and me talking about Kakol lah, thinking that it might be something great lah because it was Paul Heyman. And then...
Nothing. And the worst part is they involved Liv Morgan and then dropped the whole Liv Morgan gimmick.
Yeah, Liv Morgan was in love with Lana. It could have been something.
Yeah.
Talk about
potential.
What is, right?
Yeah.
And I really love that Liv Morgan like gimmick where she was like the black cat with that music and all that. It should have led to something, man.
Yeah. And then Rusev got so fed up he went to AEW.
Yeah. So yeah, and the story that he told on all the podcast interviews he has done since was that they promised him that this will culminate in a match at WrestleMania. If they could have lasted that long, but after 3 weeks, we realized, nope, this shit ain't gonna last.
Done. Kill it. It's dead.
No.
Okay. So that's the worst. What about the best?
Okay, honestly, I got two.
Ooh.
One from my era, me growing up. So that's why it's near and dear to my heart. And second one is actually quite recent. And I feel like it's still ongoing.
Okay.
But I really think it's intriguing. Like, it's the kind of love story that I am intrigued by. Okay, so the first one, and I don't know whether you remember this. Do you remember Chris Jericho and Christian betting $1 Canadian They
Yes.
can sleep with either Lita or Trish.
A loony. They bet a loony. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Chris actually, quote unquote, fell in love with Trish,
Yes.
right?
Yes, they fell in love with Trish, and then it culminated in a match at WrestleMania
Yes.
between Christian and Chris Jericho. And Trish Stratus, came out supposedly to help Chris Jericho, but she actually interfered in the match and cost Chris Jericho the match.
Swerve.
And yes, and then it turns out that it was Christian that got Trish Stratus, and they made out.
Oh my God.
and-
I
and
still can picture that makeout, by the way, because it wasn't just they just kissed. No, they were like, oh my God.
So right, bro. I think the one who gets the most pie among all the tag teams is Edge and Christian, bro.
Oh my
They get
God.
all the pie in the world.
Actually, speaking of Edge and Christian, I'm surprised nobody has brought this up. And I don't know if this is one of your best as well, but you're talking about recent ones. So, okay, let me throw this in before you reveal yours. Why has nobody mentioned Edge, Lita, Matt Hardy?
I thought somebody mentioned. Oh no, they only mentioned Lita and Kane.
Snitsky, yeah, and the Snitsky weird.
Oh my God.
Kicking the doll angle. But
I mean, Edge Lita, man, is badass, man. I mean, it was real.
I mean, okay, yeah, exactly, right? So the whole breaking out with Matt Hardy, that one happened, quote unquote, off air, but then they finally realized, hey, everyone knows about it. Let's make this a whole angle.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel bad for Matt Hardy?
Yeah, for sure, sure. And the thing is, honestly, the reason why I didn't choose that was because I assumed somebody would have chosen that because it's such an obvious choice.
That's why I had to bring it in, because it's like, come on, guys, Lita, Matt Hardy, and we all grew up during the Attitude Era as well, a lot of us anyway, and I lived through it too. So it's like, man, they were the perfect couple because they were like, Team Extreme, they were doing cool moves.
I just watched very recently the live sex celebrations.
What?
On
Raw, the Edge and Lita quote unquote live sex celebration.
Yes. I wasn't searching for it. But while I was like, scrolling up Instagram trying to find like this week in history, and I was like, hey, I haven't seen this angle in a while.
Oh my God.
Click. Yeah. And then what's the funniest part about that angle?
What's that?
And I don't know whether it's a very PG thing to say, but screw it, I'm gonna say it anyway. I think Edge maybe suffered a bit of shrinkage that night. Maybe it was very cool that night.
Stop it, bro.
Performing in the ring.
Stop it.
Because when he dropped out of his boxers, right? And then he was being all like, confident, man, I'm gonna do some nasty shit with Lita. And I was like,
were you staring?
Where is that thing?
Were you staring at his crotch, bro? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I was like, obviously, I couldn't miss it. It was just right in my face. But then I was like, it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Hey,
That's what I say.
Hey, stop it. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on from this, okay? It was about the storyline. He was probably nervous because he was in his literal underwear.
Come on, Edge. You got Lita there being all hot, and then that's the most you can do. That's the best.
Didn't Lita have like a wardrobe malfunction as well?
Yeah, she did. But so I was watching. Apparently,
boy.
on the live footage, right? They shot it from a different angle, and the moment like they saw like the slip, they straight away cut to the main one. So I think on like the repeat telecast, they don't show that particular angle.
Of course, of course.
But you will hear the crowd like gasp, like at that one moment.
My God, shit like this will never happen ever again.
Yeah,
in the
man.
WWE, never. I mean, I'm not saying that it should, right? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just like this sort of storytelling will never happen ever again.
Yeah, I mean, unless you pay for OnlyFans.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, but but my
best.
The reason why I chose Chris Jericho and Christian was because the very first like official VCD that I bought, why I say official was before this I was buying a lot of pirated ones at JB.
Oh, right.
But this is the first one that I saw at like my, under my blog, like, at the VCD shop. Holy crap, they sell wrestling.
Yeah.
I gotta buy this. So the first VCD pay-per-view I bought was WrestleMania 20. Yeah, and that match really stood out because I was a fan of Chris Jericho even then.
Yep.
And I really liked JR's call on Christian. At that point in time, he had a very interesting nickname.
Okay.
It's called CLB.
Oh, creepy little bastard. Yes, I remember. Yes.
I believe The Rock was the one that christened him that. Yeah. But I love it because when he was kissing and making out of Trish Stratus, and he was saying, then JR was so angry. He was saying, creepy little bastard. Yeah, as a 10-year-old kid, I found that funny lah. Don't ask me
So
why.
okay, then what is your recent love angle that is your favorite?
Okay. Why actually it's still ongoing is because it's happening right now. We still haven't seen the conclusion of it, but everything that has led up to whatever is happening, I feel has been great, has been magnificent. It's super intriguing.
Wow.
Obviously, I'm talking about The Fiend and Alexa Bliss.
Oh, right. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Here's the thing though. I wouldn't consider that a love angle. There's no love here. It's just weird shit.
That's why I feel that it's still ongoing. I think there's more layers to be held because we don't really know what's the relationship between Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. And why I say it's a love angle is because my favorite storylines are when it's reminiscent of pop culture. So obviously a lot of people make a comparison between Alexa Bliss, The Fiend, and Joker and Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah.
So if you think back of the transformation of Alexa Bliss, from bubbly with Nikki Cross, and then like all the gradual moments from her staring into the distance, changing her hairstyle, like every single week she falls deeper into this like crazy obsession with The Fiend. And then I thought it was one-sided. I thought it was like, oh, The Fiend is manipulating Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And then what happened when he feuded with Randy Orton? Randy Orton used Alexa Bliss against The Fiend.
Yeah, and he tried to protect her and stuff like that, use her as bait.
So that one segment where like The Fiend was like, between the beast, he was like, give her to me, please. Please, give her to me. Hey, don't like that lah, don't like that, please. Okay. That was the first time I realized actually this could be a sort of sick, twisted love story because The Fiend, in a weird way, cares or is fixated back with Alexa Bliss.
Yes, that's
Even
true.
though like they are in his diabolical plan, he's making use of her, but I think he cares for her. So, and as much as I'm trying to understand the dynamic between The Fiend and Randy Orton, essentially The Fiend is the face in this rivalry.
Yeah. But of course, the big question is, do you think the WWE creative team have a long-term storyline, or are they just leaving it up to, okay, so this is a cute combo, let's just let this play out, you can do your creepy shit, Alexa, while The Fiend is away?
I honestly think that The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, has a lot of creative control in his storyline. Maybe he doesn't have the final booking decision on how he loses or who he wins, but in terms of how the character bounces back, all the ideas that he has for his promos, I think that's all him. I think he pitched the idea to work with Alexa Bliss. It has to be, because I believe Alexa Bliss was definitely floundering.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say floundering. She was just cold. She was stagnant with
she was
Nikki.
just with Nikki Cross, being all happy, drinking her coffee and all that. But it had to be The Fiend or Wyatt going up backstage and say, hey, I want to work with a female talent. Who can I work with? And then she looks like, oh, okay, I think Alexa is not bad. Let's go with Alexa. And that has breathed new life into her. And I really love, as much as The Fiend has had some issues with booking and hashtag Goldberg, I believe that his overall storyline still works, where everyone he touches gets changed, except Goldberg. But everyone else has had a significant change. And maybe this might be the year, and I really hope The Fiend has a very decisive big victory against Randy Orton at WrestleMania, because I still feel that's where the storyline should go. And him and Alexa Bliss rules WWE post WrestleMania throughout this entire year.
I like where your head is at, but I also had just a horrible thought.
What?
Because I, as you know, have no faith in the WWE creative booking. What if they can't get Brock Lesnar, so they bring back The Fiend to job to Drew at WrestleMania? I just... Do you see that as a possibility? Do you see that? No. Not do you want. I know nobody wants that. But do you see that as a possibility where the creative team is like, okay, it's not going to be Drew versus Sheamus. He still has a title because Edge went to challenge Roman.
I believe. Okay.
Now that I put it out into the universe.
Hear how am I going to get us out of this sticky situation? Okay. Randy Orton has Drew McIntyre on the ropes. He's going to win in the Elimination Chamber. And then the lights go out. And everyone's like, thank God, because the Fiend is interfering
Yeah.
and preventing Randy Orton from winning the title at Elimination Chamber to fight or become the champion going to WrestleMania. So Drew retains.
Yeah.
I believe that the Fiend and Randy Orton will go to WrestleMania because first of all, there's not enough time to change the story.
Correct.
You know, the story is gonna have a big development at Elimination Chamber or post Elimination Chamber.
Wait, then who
Regardless.
does Drew face?
That's why, in a weird way, I really think Drew and Sheamus is gonna fight for the title.
At WrestleMania.
But
Oof.
first of all, they have the history, but obviously we all accept that Sheamus is not the level of star that the other contenders are.
Yeah.
But if say Sheamus has a really, really dominant run in the chamber, or holy crap, and I don't know whether this might happen,
He wins.
and then Drew definitely will have a rematch, right?
Yeah, and Drew will have his title shot at WrestleMania, and then.
And he will have his big moment at WrestleMania.
So you're saying Sheamus as a transitional champion?
Just to give Drew that big win at WrestleMania. Because I was thinking whether there's a precedent of like 1 year a guy has a big WrestleMania moment and the next year he wins the title and have a big WrestleMania moment. Only 2 people I could think of.
Hogan and Austin?
Okay, now 3 people.
The Rock?
Hogan, Austin, and Cena.
Cena, yeah, okay.
Because yes, you're right. Hogan won at 3, retained at won again at 5. Correct?
It's Hogan things. Hogan just wins a lot.
Yeah, Hogan. So yeah, Hogan win at 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Stone Cold, interestingly, had his coronation at WrestleMania 14, 1998, against Shawn Michaels. 1 year later, he lost the title, dropped it to Mankind, Rock, whatever it is, and The Rock came into WrestleMania with the title, and Stone Cold had to win it again to double up his victory.
Yeah.
John Cena also had to do it WrestleMania 21, 22.
Yeah.
So I feel that the only best way to solidify Drew as like the guy, give him a second victory in a row at WrestleMania. Give him that moment at Raymond James Stadium, bro.
Well, if anything, he could open the card. Drew versus Sheamus. That's an opener for you.
Maybe.
And
And then
then-
Roman and Edge.
Yep.
I don't know.
As the headline. Yeah.
Again, there's 2 nights.
All right. Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
Why
then, obviously, there's one night that's more blockbuster than the other, lah. Let's just put it that way, huh?
Even though I dare say last year, night 1 was better.
I guess.
Night 1 was better.
I guess we've actually kind of unintentionally moved on from the whole love thing, huh? Now that we're talking about WrestleMania, but
It's all love, bro. It's all
love. Anything else you want to say before we wrap things up? Put a bow on this whole love topic.
I love that. Love is such a prominent thing around WWE. But I forgot one last thing that everyone forgot, and I think it only deserves to not only be mentioned. We need to give it some credit as well.
Okay.
It is to me the best / worst / most dramatic nonsense love angle that WWE has done.
Shoot.
Al Wilson, Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson. Come on, why nobody mentioned
Bro,
that?
that's not a love angle. That's some like old man dirty shit angle.
It's all love, bro.
Okay. If you say
It's
so.
all-
I don't
it's
believe.
a love between a stepmother and her daughter.
I don't believe we are putting a bow on it with that. Well, we could have left it at Fiend and Alexa. It would have been perfect, but no, you had to bring in Al Wilson and Dawn Marie. Okay, there you
I
go.
gotta stick it there somewhere.
Oh God. Okay. Well, hopefully this weekend you're not sticking anything anywhere. You shouldn't be sticking it.
In my hole?
My hole.
My hole.
Oh my God, Nia Jax, what are you doing? Unintentionally now my favorite wrestler.
Unintentionally.
Because of my hole. No, the way she screamed. Okay, anyway, I could go on forever about this. But everybody, thank you for watching / listening to the podcast. As always, we have so much fun with these topics and discussions. Thank you for sharing on our social media pages. Usually we would have done it in a live format, but as we mentioned, it's a holiday. So if you're listening to this on a Friday or whenever, hey, Happy Lunar New Year. Have a prosperous, I can't even speak anymore. Prosperous one. And have a great Valentine's Day as well. Or for you single folk, have a good Friendship Day.
Hey, bro, do like that, bro.
What? No, I'm not. I mean, I'm just saying, have a good friendship. Bro, you're my friend. Happy Friendship Day.
Bro, just have a good Sunday lah.
Have a good Sunday as well.
It's a good long weekend.
Hey,
Enjoy the weekend.
Have a good Vengeance Day.
Yes, indeed. Get some vengeance on that love that was scorned.
What?
I'm talking about the Finn and Alexa Bliss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
wrapping it up with the Finn and Alexa Bliss.
Good. Put a bow on it right now. No mention of you know who.
Yes.
Also, the whole.
Then I will put that as this podcast main theme lah. Our topic discussion.
The whole.
Yes, the whole.
The whole. All right. We're gonna go celebrate the weekend. I'm Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. Have a good weekend, guys.
The whole.